Hey everyone, today we are going to be making this very cute little cat slash kitty plush with the the Cat Beanie. So I hope you enjoy this one. This is a free tutorial. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Feel free to donate as well, just to help this channel grow so we can continue making these free tutorials for you. Anyways, we will get started. So the first thing you guys will need is some 4-ply cotton yarn in the colors white or cream white, this sort of beige color. Then we've got the mint green, and again for your little cat beanie up here you can change the colors if you'd like to. I'm just going to use this mint green and this white, and then we also have black that you'll be using for some of these embroidery details. We're not using safety eyes, but feel free to use safety eyes if you want to. We're just trying to keep this as baby friendly as possible, and also it's just sometimes it works out the exact same, so I like this way anyway. Alright, and with 4-ply cotton yarn, I am going to be using a 1.9mm hook. But again, if you have your own yarn and the hook size that corresponds to that yarn, feel free to do that because this pattern should be universal. You will also need a pair of cutters, a sewing or a leather needle. This one here is a leather needle just because it's got that sharp point at the end here, which I really like, and it glides smoothly through those stitches. So leather needle or a sewing needle, but not recommended to use a tapestry needle in this case. And of course you will also need some fiber filling, so get all of those materials ready and let's get us straight into it. We are going to start off today by using our white or cream white colored yarn and just make a magic ring to begin. If you don't know how to make a magic ring, go check out my beginner crochet tutorial list and you guys can master any one of those skills and then come back here, and if you know all those little techniques, you'll be able to complete any one of these tutorials. Alright, so inside this magic ring, you are going to be working 6 single crochet stitches. So I've just worked 2 right there. Now I want to let you know that I have the yarn coming underneath the hook first, and then the yarn comes over the hook second. So I'll show you again. This is my 4th single crochet stitch. Yarn comes under, so yarn under or YU, and then yarn is over the hook second, YO. So yarn under, yarn over is the technique that I use for all of these single crochet stitches. Feel free also to use the yarn under technique, but I wouldn't recommend yarn over unless you really want to for amigurumi projects. I've linked a video over here so you can see the difference. And let's see how many stitches we have made so far. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 1 more to go to make 6. And then we are going to pull this magic ring, that free yarn tail, so we can close the magic ring right there. And from here you can either decide to crochet in a spiral or to finish off with a slip stitch and a chain 1. And that's what I'm going to do just because this is a beginner crochet tutorial. But feel free to work in a spiral if you would like to. So that's just continuously crocheting, and use a stitch marker there. And you may just need to adjust where you have these feet. You shouldn't have to, but just in case, you can see these stitches are super straight, right? If yours start to slant this way, you may have to adjust where these arms go. But I will also teach you how to keep these stitches as straight as possible, maybe in round number 3 or 4. So we'll see how it goes. For round number 2 now, you are going to be working increases in every stitch space. So an increase just means that you come into the same stitch space and you work 2 single crochet stitches. So here's my first increase right there because I have 2 single crochet stitches in the 1 stitch space. Alright, so we are just going to repeat that now. 1, and here's the second single crochet stitch for my second increase, and so on. So guys, I want you to complete 6 increases in total, giving you a total of 12 stitches after the end of round number 2. And we are up to round number 3. Round number 3 is just single crochet stitch first, followed by an increase 1 and 2. And now I did promise I was going to help you learn how to keep these stitches straight. So this is what we're going to do. When you have your yarn coming through the stitch, try to have this loop a little bit shorter than this one. So just a little bit shorter, but that is not the main thing that you need to keep an eye on. The next part is, so as you're pulling the yarn through these 2 loops on the hook, you want to keep this hook as vertical and even far over as possible. So you can see I'm doing that right there. So that's my single crochet stitch. Here's my increase. Look at how I arched right over as I pull the yarn through. Do you see that? So we're trying to manipulate the stitches to go this way because the natural direction is this way, how most people would crochet. Now, I'm a right-handed crocheter. If you're left-handed, it will just be the exact opposite of what I've just said here. So again, keep that stitch hook, you know what I mean. Keep the hook as vertical as possible as you're doing these stitches now, all the way through, and you should have those straight stitches. So again, after you've completed this pattern, single increase all the way around, you will have 18 stitches after round number 3. Now, round number 4 is a little bit different. We have some color changes and something called a spike bubble stitch to incorporate. So start off with 4 single crochet stitches in your cream white or your white colored yarn. So here's number 3 for me, and here is my 4th single crochet stitch right there. Now, once you have completed 4 single crochet stitches, in the next stitch space, we are not going to be entering our hook into this. Instead, our hook is going to enter one sort of round below that. So right there. And you don't want to miss this one here because we will have to go into this later. So make sure you can keep an eye on this stitch. But for this one, we're going one round below. So this is what we need to do. We need to wrap the yarn first before we do that. I'm going to keep my sort of nail here or my finger here just to keep it separated, this stitch here from this one. And then we will have the hook enter this stitch space one round below. That's the spike. And we've wrapped because we're incorporating the bobble stitch. So come in here and pull up the yarn. And it's very important that you pull up the yarn as well. And then you pull the yarn through 2 loops on the hook. Now just repeat, wrap the yarn first, come inside that same stitch space, pull up the yarn and pull through 2. And one more time, wrap the yarn, come into this same stitch space, pull up the yarn and pull through 2, just like that. Now once you have finished that, all you want to do is pull the yarn through all 4 loops on the hook, and look, there you go, you've just finished your first spike bubble stitch. From here, I want you to complete another 2 single crochet stitches. So that's 1. Here's the second. And on the second one, you are going to change your yarn color to your beige color or whatever color you want in the center of your little kitty cat. So we are going to pull the beige color through just like that. And now I'm going to complete another 4 single crochet stitches with this color, and I'm going to have these 2 yarn tails over the top of the hook for at least the first 1 or 2 single crochet stitches. So here's my second one, here's my third, and here is my 4th and last single crochet stitch for beige, where I will now change my yarn color back to my white, just like that. And from here we will crochet another 2 single crochet stitches in white, have the beige over the top of the hook to seal that in, 1 and 2 just like that. And now from here we are going to make another spike bubble stitch. So we're not working in this space here, but we're coming down a little bit further right here, and keep this one out of the way. So wrap the yarn first and then come over here in that space directly below, pull up the yarn and pull through 2. And again, same thing, come in the same space, pull up the yarn, pull through 2. One more time, wrap the yarn, same space, pull up and pull through 2. And then once you have 4 loops on the hook, you are going to pull the yarn through all 4 loops on the hook. And there we go. So now we should only have a total of 4 single crochet stitches left in the round. Here's number 2, here's number 3, and here is number 4, just like that. Slip stitch chain 1 or continue on in your spiral and push these bubble stitches out just like this so you can see them. And there we go. For the next 4 rounds, this is rounds 5, 6, 7, and 8, we are going to do the following. You'll start off with, let's see how many single crochet stitches we have. We have 2, 3, 4, 5, and here's the 6th single crochet stitch. So 6 single crochet stitches in white, and then we are going to change the color to our beige. So we're going to pull that through, give the white yarn tail a little bit of a tug, and now we will make or work 6 single crochet stitches in beige. 1, 2, 3, and I actually did have this yarn tail coming along with me. 4, 5, And here's the 6th one. Now that's optional, by the way, if you want to drag this white coming with you to, you can weave it in if you want, or you can weave it in 1 or 2 of those stitches. But at this point, you want to change your yarn color. After 6 single crochet stitches in beige, you're changing your yarn color to your white, and you will have the first single crochet stitch with the beige color on top of the hook as you work that single crochet stitch right there. And we just have to be careful that we're not getting any of that beige in there, which I did, so we'll do it again. Coming over here, and we'll do it once more. So that's our first. We can leave the beige now. Here's number 2. Here's number 3. Keep those stitches straight, by the way. 4, 5, and number 6. And now for the next 3 rounds, so that's 6, 7, and 8, you are just going to repeat exactly what you just did. Alright, so we've just finished rounds 5 to 8 over here, as you can see. And now from here, we are going to do the following. So you'll start off with 7 single crochet stitches, but let's see if we need to change colors. So we've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and actually we don't need to change colors, which is really nice. 7, because we're going to work inwards now. So from here, we are working a spike bubble stitch again, but this one is not a regular spike bubble stitch. We're not coming down just 1 round. Instead, we're actually coming between rounds 3 and 4. So if this is round 1, 2, 3, and 4, we're actually coming right here. So again, this is the stitch we're supposed to be going in if we were doing a regular single crochet stitch. But because we're not, we're making these legs give the illusion that the legs are coming forward over here. We're going to follow this, come directly down below until we reach the section between rounds 3 and 4. 3 is here, 4 is here. So that's where we're going. So wrap the yarn first. Keep this a little bit tight. Can you see this loop on my hook? Keep that tight. You don't want to have this loose like this. Okay, so wrap around and then come into that section between rounds 3 and 4 directly below. Just like that. Pull the yarn all the way up, and you need to pull it all the way up. You don't want this sort of stretching over here, and then pull through 2. We've done it once. We need to do it again. Wrap the yarn first. Come in here. Pull the yarn through and all the way up, and pull through 2. And let's do it once more. Come in the same stitch space and pull all the way up. I know I'm emphasizing the pulling up, but you really need to do that. And then give it a little bit of a stretch out. Pull through all 4 loops on the... Oh, no, don't do that. Sorry. Just keep it like that. Change your yarn color. We almost forgot. To beige. Easy. Spike bubble stitch done. For the next 2 single crochet stitches, they will be in beige. Lock in that bubble stitch with this yarn tail over the top of the hook. Here's the second one. Lock it in. Change your yarn color back to your white at this point. Pull it through, and you're making another elongated spike bubble stitch. Make sure this is tight. Then wrap around and come, not here, all the way down here between rounds 3 and 4. So not here, that's 4 and 5. Here is 3 and 4. Come inside here. Pull the yarn up, all the way up. And yes, I'm going to emphasize this. Pull through 2. And repeat an additional 2 times. Here's 1. And I am pulling up and accentuating that pull up, and over here 1 more time to complete this elongated spike bubble stitch, pulling all the way up, pull through 2, 4 loops on the hook, and this time we can pull with our white colored yarn. And there we go. And the remaining stitches will now just be in white. And that is it. So that is the end of round number 9. Finish that off with single crochet stitches in white. We are up to round number 10 here, and we are going to do the following. Start off with a single crochet stitch, followed by something called an invisible decrease. And this is where the hook goes through the front loop of the next stitch space, and then the front loop again of the very next stitch space. So here we have 2 front loops on the hook. We will pull the yarn through 2 of those and then pull the yarn through to finish off that stitch. So here, these 2 stitches right here have turned now into 1, and we are just going to repeat this. So single, invisible, decrease, single. Try not to nick your little bubble stitch here, especially as you're trying to make these stitches straight. Plus a invisible decrease, and invisible decrease I should say. Single crochet stitch, invisible decrease, single, invisible decrease, front loop, yarn through, and one more to finish off. Single, invisible decrease. We just did that together. Pause the video if I'm going a little bit too fast, and unpause when you're up to round number 11. This is what we are looking like so far. Now for round number 11, we can actually cut off this beige colored yarn. We are going to use it a little bit later, but if it gets in the way, just cut it off and we'll just add it on later. Super easy to do. Now for this round, we are working pretty much the opposite of what we did before. So you're going to start off with a single crochet stitch and then work an increase. 1, same stitch space, increase. There we go. There's the increase right there. I'll show you one more time. Single first and then an increase. 2 single crochet stitches in the same stitch space. Repeat that all the way around for this round and you will have 18 stitches after the completion of this round. For round number 12, we are doing the following. Super easy. 2 single crochet stitches this time, 1 and 2, followed by an increase 1 and second single crochet stitch in the same stitch space. Repeat that pattern all the way around. You will have 24 stitches after the end of round number 12. We are at the end of round number 12 here. Now, if you want to continue all the way with white, feel free to do so. I am just going to show you what we're going to look like if we change our yarn color to our beige. And we'll do this together. So you're going to change your yarn color to beige if you'd like to, just like me, and then come in and either continue on in a spiral or do your slip stitch and chain 1. Now for round number 13, we're going to start off with 9 single crochet stitches in beige. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and here is number 9, followed by changing your yarn color to white, just like that. Next, you will have the next 5 single crochet stitches in white. 1, 2, 3, 4, and here's number 5, and then you can change your yarn color back to beige. And continue the rest of those stitches in beige now for this round. And here we go, that's what we're looking like. Now for round number 14, you're going to start off with 10 single crochet stitches in beige. So I won't show you all of them, but we'll come after the 10th one. And here we are on the 10th single crochet stitch, followed by changing our yarn color to our white. Pull that through, make 3 single crochet stitches in white. 1, 2, and 3, followed by changing your yarn color back to beige. And then continuing on with your beige colored yarn. The next round is going to be 11 single crochet stitches, this time in beige, 1 in white, and then complete the remaining stitches in beige. So actually, well, I may as well show you just for this one, and then for the next one we can start to do this on our own and come back. So I am up to, this is 9th single crochet stitch, 10, we have 11 right here. Change our yarn color to white. Just like that. Give this a little bit of a pull. Come in here and work 1 white single crochet stitch. Change your yarn color back to beige. Now I would normally have this a little bit higher, but because we have that beanie, we kind of want to see these color changes, which is why I'm doing it a little bit earlier. And there we go. Okay, continue on with those remaining stitches in beige now until you've completed this round. For round number 17, it's just going to be 18 single crochet stitches in beige. Super easy work from here. All right, and so we're up to the very next round. This is round number 18 now, and you can actually cut off your white colored yarn if you're not using it. And then for the rest of us, we are going to work 2 single crochet stitches first, 1 and 2, 1, 2, followed by an invisible decrease. Front loop, yarn comes through, yarn comes through. Remember, we did that invisible decrease a little while ago. So just repeat that all the way around, single, single, invisible decrease. And then you will have 18 stitches at the end of round number 18. I think I got ahead of myself and actually said we had finished round number 18 after that round, but we're up to round number 18 right now. So this is round number 18. If you wanted to add fiber filling, just fast forward this video and you can see how I add my fiber filling. Otherwise, continue on like me, and for round number 18 this time, we're working a single crochet stitch followed by an invisible decrease. So complete that invisible decrease and then repeat that pattern, single invisible decrease, repeat all the way around, and you will have a total of 12 stitches at the end of round number 18. And once you finish that round, all you're going to do is pull the yarn through and kind of just elongate it so you've got a little bit of yarn slack over here, and that way when you're adding fiber filling, this won't unravel and start unraveling your stitches, which is something that we all don't want. Okay, so this is what we're looking like so far, and now we're ready to add some fiber filling, so let's do that now. All right, so grab that fiber filling and start adding it layer by layer, and I want you to add this in small layers, by the way. So just grab little bits of fiber filling at a time, and if you have a pair of cutters, use that to condense your fiber filling in those small layers. So every time you add a small layer, use a pair of cutters to condense it in there, and that way you're just getting rid of those air pockets and you're able to fill it up nice and consistently throughout. This will work for any type of amigurumi project, by the way, large or small. You're just adding layer by layer. You don't want to overstuff this by adding a huge chunk, because sometimes if you add huge chunks at a time, you miss certain sections and it becomes harder to manipulate the fiber filling as well. So just little layers at a time again, and use a pair of cutters to just get it in all of those nooks and crevices so that we can have evenly distributed fiber filling throughout. So I'll let you guys complete that until you get to the top of the head. Okay, so we've just added all that fiber filling all the way to the top. If you can get a little bit more in there, try to do so, just to make sure this is firm and compact but not overstuffed. And for the last round, all you want to do is start making invisible decreases. So here's my first invisible decrease right there. Here's the second one, front loop, and pull this yarn here so the tension is nice and tight as you're doing this, especially because this is your last round and you don't want to make these stitches loose because there's fiber filling in it. So again, your front loop, make sure this is nice and tight. Pull the yarn through, keep these stitches tight right here, and pull the yarn through again. And you're just going to repeat this 6 times in total. So 6 times in total, and then slip stitch in the very first stitch space to finish that off. And I've just made that slip stitch right there, and I'm going to pull the yarn through the loop on my hook, and I'm going to cut myself around about a 15 centimeter yarn tail. I probably have 20 centimeters or something like that, but that is okay. More is always better than not enough. So there we go. Here's the body, and let's just close the top of our little project over here. And here we go. So I've just woven this yarn tail through the eye of my leather needle, and then in every single stitch space, I'm just working my needle through the front loops only and pulling through a little bit. So pulling through, but not pulling, so that you tighten it. So here's number 3, and so I'm just going through this. Here's number 4, here's number 5, and there will be 6 in total, remember, because we made 6 decreases in the last round. So here's the 6th one. And now it's at this point where we can start pulling in a clockwise direction to close that, basically your opposite end magic ring. And then we're going to enter the needle through right through the center here, come out somewhere where there is beige yarn, not where there's white yarn, and pull until this is nice and flat. And if you've got any bumps, just kind of manipulate them into the center whilst you pull at the same time. All right, so once that's done, that's nice and tight and closed at the top here, you are going to work this yarn in. Can you see these stitches over here and how there's a dominant diagonal across the top? This is what I want you to follow. So my needle is coming right here and we're going to lay on top of this, and then just come out somewhere again where there is beige yarn. So here, have a look at this, seamlessly flows on the top and you wouldn't even know that this had been woven in. And you are just going to repeat that the entire way. So you might want to do that, let's say 4 to 5 times, depending on how much yarn you have as your tail. So coming here, this is my 4th one, and I might do, let's say 5 or so in total. So here's the 5th one. I'll come right at the back here, and that should be just enough. Now, if you have excess and you don't want to weave that in, you can just chop off the excess and then push in whatever is remaining inside the head to hide. And there we go. There we have finished our little cat body right here. All right, so we're just going to make a couple of ears here. Normally I would leave this out, but if you wanted to make some ears, this is how you do it. Have a look, and we'll just call this right here, this magic ring, as round 1. Then the next one across is round 2, and here is round number 3 here. So between rounds 2 and 3, you're just going to insert your hook kind of at the center point of your little cat. And again, this is optional. You don't have to do this. So you come in here. Then you're going to grab, let's see, since we have, you can do white or your beige. So I'm going to grab some beige colored yarn right here. Just keep it consistent. This is kind of in the middle as well, the middle top of the head between rounds 2 and 3 if you're counting from here. Then pull the yarn through just like that. Chain 1 and 2. Okay, so we've chained 2, and now we're going to wrap the yarn, come in the same spot. Have this yarn tail over the top of the hook, pull up the yarn, and pull through 2. 2 loops are on the hook. Repeat again, wrap the yarn, come in the same spot, pull the yarn through, pull through 2. One more time, wrap the yarn, enter hook through the same section, pull the yarn through, and pull the yarn through 2 loops on the hook. Now, from this point, you should have 4 loops on the hook, and you're going to pull the yarn through all 4 loops on the hook. But here, we're going to do something different. We'll chain 1, then enter your hook through all front 4 loops again, okay? And then pull the yarn through all of that and work a slip stitch. It's also called a picot stitch into the loop on the hook. So there we go. We're going to chain 2 now, 1 and 2, come in the same stitch space and work a slip stitch. So we're coming in here and we're working a slip stitch into the loop on the hook, and then we just pull through and cut yourselves a little bit of a yarn tail to finish that off. Okay, there's my first ear. Beautifully done. You can see this looks good. It's a nice little cat ear over here. Now we are going to do the exact same thing on this side. Between rounds 2 and 3, you can come either here or, so here's 1, 2, and 3. I'd probably try to keep it top middle if you can, between rounds 2 and 3. Now if it doesn't work here, come a little bit forward, but it's a little bit of testing. So we are going to try this one now and see and hope for the best. So we're going to pull the yarn through, chain 2, wrap the yarn, come in the same stitch space, pull the yarn through. So pull that through and pull through 2. Then repeat. Come in here, pull the yarn through, pull through 2. I'm going a little bit faster this time. Wrap the yarn, same stitch space that we worked in, pull the yarn through, and pull through 2. Now I can already kind of tell that this ear is a little bit further back than this one. So I'm just going to move it forward a little bit. So we went here, right? We are going to come instead over here, in this little stitch space over here. You just want to make sure that this looks relatively even. So you're just finding a stitch space where this looks good. All right, and we'll just start this again. So pull the yarn through, chain 2, wrap the yarn, same stitch space, pull the yarn through, pull through 2. Repeat twice. Here, pull through 2, one more time. Wrap the yarn, come in the same stitch space, pull through 2. pull the yarn through all 4 loops on the hook, chain 1, and then from here you'll come into all 4 loops again, just the front portion of those loops, or well, it really is, you're going inside and you're working a picot stitch, or alternatively we can call this a slip stitch, just so you can understand the basic technique that we're using. We're just pulling through the loop on the hook, then we chain 2, 1 and 2, and we'll come in that same stitch space and work a slip stitch to finish that off. Then we'll pull the yarn through all of that, give it a little bit of a cut, and there we go. We've got our 2 cat ears now right there. So that looks good. Okay, so you want to then weave these little cat ears into the, so when I say cat ears, I mean these yarn tails, weave them into the head. You can come out in the same stitch space, tie a double knot, and then push it back in. So as you can see, I'm working these yarn tails through. So we've got our cat ears right there, and then I've worked these yarn tails through. I've got 2 in each stitch space, and then all I do is just tie 2 of them in a double knot, just like that, and use my scissors to cut above the knot, and then I can just hide the knot in the head completely to hide it. And I'll do the same for this one over here, and then